Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining us from today. I'm Megan Wood, Director of Recruitment and Admissions in the University of Buffalo School of Management, and I'm really excited to be joined here today by Dr. Mike Wei, who is our Faculty Director for our MS in Supply Chain Management program. So we appreciate your interest in joining us for today's session, which is a Q&A with Dr. Mike Wei, who's the Faculty Director for the MS in Supply Chain Management program. During today's session, you might hear us refer to it as SCM instead of Supply Chain Management, so it's one and the same. We appreciate that so many of you submitted questions during the registration process, and we will cover them during today's session before we open it up to other questions, and we'll be able to address it at the end. I'm going to answer a few frequently questions before we get started, but if you have questions during the session today, please feel free to type them in the chat and we'll address them during the session or at the end. I do want to let you know that today's session is being recorded, and within about 1 week, once it's edited, we'll be able to share it with you. So you'll have a chance to review it again, share it with any friends that might be interested in an MS and supply chain management program, and just have the information for later on. So that'll be, I'll email it out in about a week's time. So let's just dive into your questions. First question that was submitted is the GMAT or GRE required? No, the University of Buffalo School of Management uses a test optional admissions process. So you can upload a GMAT or GRE score report if you have a strong score, but you are not required to do so, as the GMAT and GRE are not required. We had some students ask, how long is the program and when do classes begin? The program is 11 months in length. Classes begin in early July, and students take 6 credits in the summer, 12 credits in the fall, and 12 credits in the spring. And we'll go into a little bit more detail on curriculum soon. Is this program STEM? Yes, absolutely. The MS in Supply Chain Management program is STEM designated, which provides an extra 24 months of OPT, or optional practical training, for a total of 36 months. Someone had asked if there's course prerequisites and if work experience is required. So no, there are no course prerequisites that you have to complete prior to the program, and work experience is not required to apply. But at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Wei to provide some additional detail on what competitive applicants bring to the program, and also go through the MS and Supply Chain Management benefits and highlights. Dr. Wei?
Okay, thank you, Megan. And first one, I want to congratulate you all. You have been selected from a highly competitive pool of applicants and have been admitted into this prestigious program. Your past achievements has brought you here, and you should be very proud of yourself. I'm Dr. Mike Wei. You can just call me Mike or Dr. Wei. I'm the faculty director of the Master of Science in the Supply Chain Management. My primary role is to design the curriculum and support your success, both academically during your time at the UB and professionally as you embark on your career after graduation. So for the benefits of this program, as Megan mentioned, I would start with saying that the UB Master of Science in Supply Chain Management is designed to equip students with cutting-edge knowledge, analytical skills, and real-world expertise to excel in today's dynamic and global supply chain. Our program is STEM designated, as you all noticed, and offer a data-driven and technology-focused curriculum. Our students will learn from the world-class faculty, industry leaders, and bridging the theory with practical applications. And benefits from the strong employee connections, internships, career coaching, job placement support. You will join our elite alumni network and assess the diverse career path in the procurement, logistics, operations, supply chain, etc. And UB is a top ranked business school. Ensure that you are going to gain the skill, connections, and credential to lead and innovate in the supply chain management, elevate your careers. So please join us, and I hope I'm going to see you in the fall. And let me try to start with some information about the curriculum if you are joining our program. Let me try to next. Okay. Uh, the um, the UB Master of Science in Supply Chain Management program spans 3 semesters, beginning in the early July, and it's going to consist of total 30 credits, structured as 12 credits of the core curriculum courses, 3 credits of the flex core courses, and 12 electives. And at the end of your academic journey, in the spring semester next year, you are going to take 3 credits of a capstone course. And as Megan mentioned, this is going to be STEM designated, allowing all the international students to apply for up to 36 months of the optional practical training. If I'm mistaken, Megan, please correct me. That
Yep,
is what I
absolutely.
believe.
That's correct. It's a total of 36 months of OPT.
Perfect. Okay, let me try to give you more details of this program. The program is structured as follows. First one, we are going to look at the required courses. And there are going to be 4 core curriculum you are going to take. This is going to be spent about over 3 semesters. So at least you have 1 core courses per semester. And specifically in summer, you're going to take the MGO 630 Operations and Service Management. And in the fall, you're going to take Global Operations Management and Supply Chain Analytics. And finally, in the spring, you're going to take Logistics Management. So for each semester, you're going to have 1 core course to build up your learning experience. And then we have Flexible Core. This segment consists of 3 courses, but you only need to take at least 1 course from the following 3, because those courses are designed for a specific domain and to enhance your career opportunities in that direction. But if you want to take more than 1 course, please be my guest. You can take the remaining core, flexible core as elective if you want to. And finally, in the last semester, you're going to take the MGO 647, the supervised research. I'm going to come back to that and later on when I talk about how this course are going to be taught in connection with the industry partners to enhance your learning experience. And besides those required courses, then you have the flexibility to take additional 12 elective credits to tailor your learning experience and strengthen your personal brand in the marketplace. Those electives provide expertise in managing organizations, people, technology, and resources. You are going to take 2 STEM designated electives and 1 non-STEM elective. And this balance ensures a well-rounded skill set and combining analytical expertise with management and strategic decision-making abilities. And before I promise you to come back to the capstone course, the MGO 647 supervised research, although we have supervised research on the title, that doesn't mean you're required to write a thesis or research paper. That is not the purpose. This course's purpose was try to integrate all the knowledge and skills you require throughout the program. And in this course, you are going to analyze a real-world supply chain problem, conduct either research or develop data-driven solutions for those problems or for those companies. This work are going to be under the supervision of faculty members and our industry partners. This course is going to be facilitated in collaboration with our Center for Supply Chain Analytics. This is the multidisciplinary research hub advancing the application of cutting-edge supply chain analytics best practices. And in particular, you're going to learn the best practice in the emerging industry. And more importantly, you are going to work with our faculty members on either research projects you are interested in or some practical projects that may of your interest. And some of the potential projects span different areas such as global commerce, advanced manufacturing, healthcare, sustainability, and I also put on some of the potential projects and that may be of interest to you. Of course, if those projects are not enough, then we have another facility, which is the project clinic, where you are able to identify and address some emerging industry challenges. And all those things are going to be connected with a group of faculty members and industry leaders to help you go through this process. By the end of this course, you are going to be present a comprehensive report, detail the problems you are researching on or working on, your analysis, findings, and solutions. And that report is going to be graded by the faculty members and our industry partners to conclude this program. So when you graduate from this program, you are well equipped with academic knowledge and also with practical problems you have been solving using this knowledge you have learned during your journey at UB. Finally, now, congratulations, you graduated and your family, friends, and professors are all proud of you. Now, what comes next? I think most of you will aim to secure a job and advance in your career. So this program is equipped you with both fundamental knowledge and hands-on experience, preparing you for leadership roles in the supply chain management. Their potential career paths are going to include some entry-level roles such as coordinators, specialists, analysts, etc. And then when you move up on the ladder, you're going to take more managerial position, such as middle-level management roles, such as supply chain manager, procurement managers, operations manager, etc. And eventually, when you are experienced enough, then you are going to gain the senior leadership, such as the COO, Chief Operations Officer, Director of the Procurement and Sourcing, VP of Supply Chain, etc. So finally, it has been a pleasure speaking with you today. And if you have any questions for me or for Megan, then please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wei. We definitely appreciate all of the details. And I hope everyone is just more excited to either apply to or move forward with your application to the MS in Supply Chain Management program. So there was a few questions in the chat that I want to address. So there was a lot of questions around assistantships and on-campus employment. So to apply for an assistantship or on-campus employment, you have to be admitted to the program and you have to have paid your $500 tuition deposit to access the university's Career Design Center where those postings live. So you have to first be admitted to the program and secondly, pay your deposit of $500 to be able to access any on-campus employment opportunities and assistantship opportunities. So that's the steps there. More positions will be posted, later into the summer and then definitely into the fall. Additionally, there was questions about merit-based scholarships. Just a second, and I'll get to your question. So hopefully all of you have had a chance to go to the website. You can view the tuition and fee information there. A graduate program is definitely an investment in yourself. And your future career prospects. So hopefully you've had a chance to review the tuition on the website. Current New York State resident tuition and fees are estimated to be a little bit over $19,000 for the MS and Supply Chain Management program. Non-resident tuition and fees are estimated at $36,178. And that's non-resident, so non-New York State resident and international students. We also offer merit-based scholarships ranging from $2,000 to $5,000. Additionally, students can secure assistantship positions or on-campus employment. And many of our students also get student loans to help cover their tuition and fee costs. There is not a separate application for merit-based scholarship consideration. Anything you use to apply to the program and any of those admissions materials are being reviewed for merit-based scholarship consideration. We have already issued the first round of scholarships. Depending on those which students accept. There may be an opportunity for more, but at this point, we've already contacted any scholarship recipients. We do not have need-based scholarships for this program. Let's see here. I'm just going through the chat. So the $500 tuition deposit is required to confirm your seat in the program. If you have already been admitted, then you would have received your acceptance letter that notes that the deposit, we'd like you to pay as soon as possible, but it's definitely due by May 15th. So that's required to confirm your seat in the program. We don't waive deposits because we need to know how many people to expect. So you'd have to pay that tuition deposit by May 15th. In order to be able to pay the tuition deposit, if you're an international student, you have to upload all of your I-20 materials. So you can review your checklist and see if you're missing any of those materials. We require your proof of degree. We require your passport photo page. We require the UB financial form that's completed. We also require financial supporting documentation. So once those materials are uploaded, which you can do post-admission, it's not required for admission consideration, then within 2 weeks from that time, you'll receive your UB person number and also the tuition deposit link. 2 weeks after that, or approximately 4 weeks from the time you've submitted your I-20 materials, you'll receive an email that your I-20 is available and you'll be able to download that from your admitted student portal. But in order to be able to pay the deposit, you have to upload all of your I-20 materials first, and then within 2 weeks, you'll get your UB person number and the tuition deposit link to be able to pay the deposit. No, you are not able to access assistantships or apply for on-campus jobs until you deposit. You have to be a deposited student to gain access to that system. It's just a requirement of having access to those systems. Yes, you can defer your admission if you need to. This program admits in the summer only. So if you were to defer your admission, you would have to defer to summer 2026. Students are able to defer once up to 1 calendar year from their original admit term. Dr. Wei, I'm going to send this question to you. Is the capstone project carried out individually or by a team? Could you answer that?
Of course, the capstone course was designed to as a group of faculty members, and there's going to be one facilitator. I think Jennifer is going to be the facilitator. She is going to help to put out multiple kind of potential projects, and you can choose which company or which area you want to work on. If you choose that project, then that project will be matched with one of our faculty members from our department. Then you are going to work with that individual faculty members throughout this semester to solve that project or that company's problems. And your final report are going to send to that faculty member for evaluation. So it's kind of the big group, all the faculty members involved in the capstone projects, but eventually you are going to be interacted with one individual faculty member who has expertise in that domain.
Excellent, thank you. So we'll keep going through the questions in the chat and then I'll get to the raised hand. So again, you have to pay your deposit, the $500 tuition deposit, to have access to apply for on-campus employment and assistantship opportunities. So you're not able to access those until you pay your tuition deposit of $500, and you'll need to pay that by May 15th. If you plan to defer, you don't have to pay your deposit before you submit your request to defer. You do have to submit a formal request to som-apps@buffalo.edu. I typed that into the chat so that we have a record of your actual deferral request. You do not have to pay the deposit if you plan to defer. If you defer to a future semester, then we'll contact you for the next semester on next steps after that, after those applications open, which 2026 applications will open on July 1st. So if your visa is refused, hopefully it will not be, but if you can provide official documentation that your visa was refused, we can look at potentially refunding your tuition deposit, but it has to be official documentation. It can't just be an email from you saying that your visa was refused. It would have to be official documentation from the embassy that the visa was refused, and then we could refund your tuition deposit. So no, you do not have to accept or confirm your admission to be offered merit-based scholarships. Like I said, we've already submitted them, our first round offers, so students have received those. But we highly encourage that if you have received an offer, there's a deadline in your letter to accept that offer and also pay your deposit. Because if you don't meet that deadline, we move on to another round of scholarships. So it's really important that you are working on your I-20 materials to pay that deposit. I talked already about the estimated course cost for international students. Tuition fees is a little bit over $36,000. And then if you look at the UB financial form, you'll find the estimate for living expenses as well. Okay, so how long before you get a response? So we have admissions deadlines and decision notification deadlines posted on the website. However, applications are viewed every 2 to 3 weeks. So it's possible you could get a decision maybe 3 to 4 weeks after you've submitted your materials because we still have to process it in our office before it moves on to Professor Wei for consideration. But he is reviewing those applications on a weekly basis. So generally, you're going to have a decision within 3 to 4 weeks, but you'll definitely have a decision by the date notified on the program website. Yes, I did see that there are merit-based scholarships. We talked about that. So now we're going to move over to is it Benga Ayaji with your hand raised? Go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, thank you, Director Wood. You've been very friendly as I frequently message you and you reply me under 24 hours. I'm so appreciative of that.
Well,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you. You're welcome.
Yeah. And I also want to thank Dr. Mike. I look forward to seeing you, Dr. Mike.
Yeah,
uh,
precious mine, and looking forward to see you as well.
all right, thank you. So my question is in two folds. The first one is, do assistantships get paid monthly? I mean, weekly or monthly? Do they receive any stipend apart from the scholarship
Yeah.
that comes with assistantship opportunities? I will come
So
again. I'll repeat the question.
I
Assistantship opportunities,
mhm.
do they come with remunerations or
So
wages
it
apart from the
depends.
scholarship that I believe that it comes with? That's the first question. Do you
Okay.
want to answer that now or I go to the next question?
Nope. Let me answer that first. So
Okay.
it depends. It depends on the assistantship. So there might be assistantship opportunities that do carry a partial tuition waiver in addition to a stipend. There's also most of those are graduate assistant or teaching assistant opportunities. So it's usually a partial tuition stipend or partial tuition waiver and then hourly paid. So obviously, if there is a tuition waiver that goes along with it, it's applied each semester. And then the stipend would be applied, it's like paid in a paycheck to the student account. And those are paid every 2 weeks. But it varies because there's some assistantships that may carry a stipend and partial tuition waiver. There's other assistantships that might be hourly paid, so there's no tuition waiver. So that's why when you're reviewing the postings, when you have access to review those postings on the Career Design Center, you have to make sure to review the posting carefully to see what the benefits are. And if they're unclear, then you can reach out to the hiring department to ask more about the compensation. So the answer is it depends on the position.
Yeah, thank you so much for the wonderful answer. I'm so filled with the response. This my second question is the first round of scholarships have been given to deserving African students, all African students, let me not say deserving, to all African students. We all received the leadership.
Right. That's a specific,
Yes,
so that's the specific Leaders Across Africa scholarship. That is
yes,
not,
yes,
that is not the MS and Supply Chain Management Dean scholarships. Those are two separate scholarships. So yes, the
yes,
Leaders Across America scholarships have been awarded to various African students. But the merit-based scholarships for MS Supply Chain Management, they're called MS Supply Chain Management Dean Scholarships. Those first-round scholarships have also been awarded to deserving students. It's a very competitive process because we've had so many wonderful competitive applicants. So it's difficult to choose. We only have so much scholarship money, but we definitely try to make sure that we can award as many as possible. Domestic and international students are eligible for that consideration and have been awarded those Dean scholarships. So right now, the offers have gone out. So those scholarship recipients have to work on getting their I-20 materials together to be able to submit to pay their deposit to secure their scholarship. So they're two
Yes.
separate scholarships. Leaders Across Africa is across all of our graduate programs, where the Dean scholarships are specific to each individual program. Okay?
Okay. Yes. I'm just getting aware of the Dean scholarship now. But what's my question was really is that when is the deadline for other scholarship offers coming in? Because of our I-20 and visa application interview. For
So
example, myself now I've received my I-20, but the thing now is if I get another scholarship, that means I would be reapplying for another I-20 that would include my funding sources.
if you were to secure an additional scholarship, then your I-20 would be reissued. That's something that we would take care of behind the scenes. But at this point,
Automatically.
I'm sorry,
Is it automatically?
it's automatic. We would see that applied and then we would reissue that. Obviously, you can let us know, but that's something that we track. But
Yeah,
at this point, to be considered, the priority deadline for consideration for merit-based scholarships was January 15th. So as I mentioned, if some of our scholarship offers decline, then there's a potential that we'll make another round of offers. But at this point, we're not there yet. But if you do get an additional scholarship and your I-20 has already been issued, it will be reissued to showcase that you received a scholarship. So again, we only
Thank
have
you.
merit-based MS Dean scholarships. You can look for other scholarship funding. You can search the web for that, but we only offer the MS Supply Chain Management Dean Scholarship. That's our merit-based scholarships. Many students also secure loans to assist with their tuition funding.
Yes,
Um,
thank you so much, Director Megan Wood. I really appreciate that response.
You're welcome. Thanks for the great questions. I'm sure
Yes.
many people have the same question.
What did you say?
I said, thanks for the great questions. I'm sure many people had the same questions you did.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I just want to do a recap of my first question, which you provided answer to. You said only graduate assistant and teaching assistant usually have partial tuition waivers, right?
I said some assistantship positions have partial tuition waivers, not all. So it's really dependent upon the office or the faculty member and what their budget is. So the details of the assistantship opportunity is going to be within that assistantship posting. So you have to view the
Okay.
postings
Okay,
on the
now I
Career
get
Design
it.
Center website to determine what the funding opportunities are. Okay, Mohammed, let's go on
Thank you
to,
so much. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Mohammed, what's your question?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. I don't know if you can hear me clear.
Yes, I could hear you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My question is on the assistantships. Is it program specific or it is just the general assistantships that are available on campus?
They are not program specific. So assistantship posting and on-campus employment, they're general. They're all posted through the university's Career Design Center website. You have to be an admitted and deposited student to be able to access those postings. So we have a lot of our students that apply for assistantship positions, not only within the School of Management, but through different offices across campus. So there's nothing specific for supply chain management students. However, With our new Center for Supply Chain Analytics, there are going to be opportunities through the center, which when students arrive on campus, there's going to be additional information on how to apply for some of those positions. But anything that is available now, and we'll have additional postings available between, now through the summer, through the fall. But you have to be an admitted and deposited student to be able to apply for on-campus assistantship and on-campus employment. There was a question, so that answered a question in the chat about how to apply for a graduate assistant. Someone had also asked about the financial requirements to secure the I-20 form. So the UB financial form is available on the website under additional steps for international applicants. You'll find the UB financial form for the supply chain management students. You'll complete that form. You have to show the amount of money at the top of that form. And then there's also acceptable financial documentation that you can add with that program, or that's acceptable for financial documentation. It's all on that UB financial form. So if you haven't checked out that form yet, please be sure to do so. Mohammed, did you have another question?
Yes.
Okay, what's your question?
Yeah, it's on you mentioned also that you can defer your admission to the fall, which I didn't get very well.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't say you could defer it to the fall. You can defer it for up to 1 year from the original admit term. Our MS and Supply Chain Management program only admits in the summer. So if you have to defer, you would have to defer to summer 2026.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Emmanuel, what's your question? Emmanuel, did you have a question? So I'll go to a question in the chat then. So yes, if someone secures an assistantship and there is a stipend with that, or it's an hourly paid assistantship, you're able, of course, you can use that towards tuition and also accommodation. Somebody else had asked you about the 24 months OPT. So STEM designated programs, meaning science, technology, engineering, and math. STEM designated programs like our MS and Supply Chain Management program offer an additional 24 months of OPT. So all graduate programs provide 12 months of optional practical training, also known as OPT. But when it's a STEM designated program, there's the opportunity to complete an additional 24 months. So you take the 12 and the 24, so you get a total of 36 months of OPT, or 3 years, with a STEM designated program. So it's really beneficial to get that experience, and then hopefully it leads to a full-time job. Emmanuel, did you have a question? Okay.
Hello, ma'am. Hello,
Yeah,
ma'am.
sure. What's your question?
Yeah, this is Oluwagbenga Ajayi, David. Yeah. My question now is, as it regards my DSO, I saw the DSO's name on my I-20 yesterday night.
Okay.
Yes, I don't have a contact. I believe I'm supposed to communicate and liaise with her.
Okay, so you can go to the buffalo.edu website and type in your DSO's name, and it'll provide you the contact information for your DSO. Okay, but that's great news. I'm happy that you've gotten your I-20.
Well, thank you so much. I hope to see you soon.
I hope so too. I'm really excited for anyone that's an admitted student, or any student on here who's a prospect or an applicant, and hopefully will be admitted. It's so fun to get to connect with you virtually, but it's very exciting when we get to see everyone that makes up the entire class. So we're excited that that's coming in just a few months. Just to clarify, anyone that has been admitted, the arrival date is in your acceptance letter. But for anybody that is applying or a prospective student, the MS and Supply Chain Management program starts in early July. So you need to arrive on campus July 6th, Orientation is generally on the 7th, and then classes start on July 8th. So there is no late arrival for any of our summer start programs. We have many summer start programs. So I hope that kind of helps you gauge, start date. But it's detailed in your acceptance letter as well. Ian, did you
Hello?
have a question? Sure. Did you have a question?
Hello?
Hi, I can hear you. What's your question?
Okay. Thank you very much. I just discovered that I was given the leadership scholarship award. I didn't even know. I just logged in and I saw that. So my question is, I just want to know the support you give to especially African students as regards the visa processes, because the US embassy, especially in Nigeria here, the problem we have is denial of visa. So
Well,
what
so
can we get
all
from you?
admitted African students received a Leaders Across Africa scholarship. So if you're an admitted African student, that's in your portal. So that scholarship should help because we hear a lot of times that, funding is an issue. Additionally, our Office of International Student Services, also known as ISS, has a lot of wonderful resources on their website to help with the visa process. Additionally, within your portal, you can reach out to Claudia. She's one of our current students from Ghana. So she can also be a resource for you if you have questions about the visa process.
Then the
But
second
the Office
question.
of International Student Services actually provides wonderful resources on their website, but they also offer great pre-arrival information sessions that you can attend virtually or you can watch the recording. So definitely check that out as well.
Okay, I will do exactly that. One
Okay.
question is, since you said the leadership for Africa is for every African student, that means is it possible for somebody to still have that and then have the merit-based scholarship, or you can't get it?
It is
I just want to
possible.
get that clarity.
It's possible. But like I said, we've already offered our merit-based scholarship. So it's possible that there may be additional ones, but at this point, we've already offered all the merit-based scholarships. So it really depends on if those students
So
pay their
yeah, I
deposits.
didn't get.
Okay.
So I will take it that I didn't get that merit-based scholarship.
At this point, if you haven't received a scholarship letter, you did not receive a scholarship. But again, it's up to any of
Okay,
the
thank
first
you.
round students to deposit. It was just a very competitive pool. So, okay. Is it Emmanuel then? Emmanuel, what's your question? Emmanuel, did you have any questions? You can also feel free to type them into the chat. Okay, there's a question in, hold on, please. There's a question in the chat. The Leaders of Africa Access Scholarship will be applied to your I-20. So that will go on to your I-20 as $5,000 tuition, $5,000 scholarship. So it's applied to your I-20. Okay, if I know there's a couple people on here that got rejected, feel free to email me directly. I'm going to put my email into the chat. And if you have questions about your rejection, you can let me know. I would say if you're rejected for this year, you're not going to want to reapply again this year. However, if you get additional work experience or if you take a strong GMAT or GRE, there's potential that you could be admitted next year. Feel free to email me. Okay. I'm sorry. You check Woo?
Yes, okay.
You,
Just one
yeah,
last question.
go ahead.
About those who interested in deferring their someone's
I'm
mic is
sorry,
on.
I missed
You
that. Can you
mentioned
say
that
it again?
those who are interested in deferring the admission, you didn't state the process. You said, are we supposed to send the mail, or is there a process on the, let's say, so the person is not able to,
If you want to defer your
and you,
admission, you need to send an email requesting deferral, saying that I want to defer my admission to summer 2026. you will send that email to som-apps@buffalo.edu. You do not have to pay your deposit if you are deferring. If you've already paid your deposit and you defer, then we'll be able to move your deposit to that future term, which would be summer 2026.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much. It was
You're
the email
welcome.
I'm only looking for.
I put the email in the chat. Let's see.
Hi, ma'am.
Aisha, go ahead.
Okay.
Aisha Said. Okay, Emmanuel, did you have a question? I keep seeing your hand raised, but okay. Ian, we'll go to you. Do you have a question?
Yes. My question is, I've not been able to see Ms. Leanne Penn's email on the UB's website. Could you please give me the website name to look for her name again?
You just go to buffalo.edu, and within the search, you can type in that person's name.
Buffalo.edu. Okay.
EDU. Okay. Okay. Emmanuel, did you have a question?
Yes, madam, I have a question.
Okay. What's your question?
Good afternoon once again to you and Prof. Mike for this wonderful insight.
Hello.
Hello. Can I go on?
Yes.
Please, my question has to do with the assistantship scholarship and then the dean scholarship. It means you have to secure your I-20 before you can access these two scholarships.
Well, at this point, the scholarships have been issued. So anyone that received a scholarship has already received a letter. And within the scholarship letter, it details a new deposit deadline so that you have to upload I-20 materials and deposit to secure that scholarship. But all first round scholarships have been issued. So if you didn't receive a scholarship, then you're going to have to upload financial documentation for the amount listed on the UB financial form.
Yeah, please, I have secured this thing, the African Access Scholarship. I have secured that one. I have the letter. But I'm talking about these two assistantship scholarship and then the dean scholarship. It means I have to get my I-20 before I can proceed to apply for these two scholarships.
No. The dean scholarships are merit-based. You don't have to deposit to be awarded a dean scholarship. Those have already gone out to admitted students. They weren't deposited. They're all admitted students. Assistantships, you have to apply for assistantships, so you do have to deposit to be able to access assistantship and on-campus employment postings. So that
plus the dean scholarship.
No, for assistantships and on-campus employment. The dean scholarships have already been awarded. So unless those scholarship recipients don't deposit, they've already been awarded. If any of those recipients don't deposit, then we'll go to a next round. But no, you don't have to deposit to be considered for a merit-based scholarship.
Okay, so when am I eligible for the merit-based scholarship aside the African Access Scholarship?
Yes, people that got the African Leadership Scholarship, they're also eligible for the merit-based scholarship. But like I said, at this point, all the merit-based scholarships have been awarded. So if any of those recipients don't deposit and enroll, then there's an opportunity that we'll make additional offers for merit-based. But at this point, they've been issued. To apply for an assistantship or on-campus employment, you have.
And then my final question has to do with the UB financial form.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
Go ahead, ask your question.
Hello. Please, hello.
We're here. Ask your question.
Okay. My second question has to do with the UB financial form. I downloaded the standard one with the $59,600 as the estimated cost of attendance. But on the other event that I took part, they were saying the COA for scholarship for COA for supply chain management is $36,170. So I'm asking, if I'm filling the assets, the financial form, should I have to quote the $36,170, or I should be limited to the $59,600?
I just put a link to the financial form in the chat.
Okay.
You have to show proof of funds for a total of $59,600.
Okay, I have done that.
Okay, great. Great.
Okay.
So then it usually takes about 2 weeks after you've uploaded those materials for your person number and tuition deposit link to be issued, and then about 4 weeks for your I-20.
Okay. So sorry for interrupting. So if I get the I have to receive my UB number before I can proceed to pay the $500.
Correct.
Okay, that's nice.
And you should get that about 2 weeks after you've uploaded those materials.
Yeah, okay.
You'll get an email when it's available, and you'll get it from your portal. Okay. Ian, you had a raised hand, so go ahead. What's your question? Ian? Okay. All right. Well, at this point, I've answered all the questions in the chat. Ian, did you have a question? Ian? Okay. We definitely appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for your interest in the MS in Supply Chain Management program at the University of Buffalo. This was one session. It's always great to have Dr. Wei, who's our faculty director, to talk about more detail about the program and curriculum and opportunities. But we do have other ways. We have a weekly information session that you can attend virtually. There's also recording in our digital library and on the program page. We have one-on-one appointments. We also have weekly quick Q&A drop-in sessions as well. So there's lots of ways to engage with us. So please continue to do so. Additionally, if you are an admitted student to the MS in Supply Chain program, our admitted student webinar is coming up on March 13th. So you can register for that in your admitted student portal. And we look forward to seeing any of the admitted students on this webinar on March 13th. Thanks again for your interest. I hope you have, oh, great. Thanks, IIE. So if you're an admitted student, there's a WhatsApp group that's formed. So check out the chat and you can connect with other incoming students. And you can also connect with other incoming students on your admitted student portal through a platform that we have. So feel free to check that out as well. Sorry, one last quick question. Somebody had asked about editing or updating your financial form after getting your I-20. If your personal source of funds have changed, you do not need to update your I-20. If you've secured a scholarship, then your I-20 needs to be updated. We're tracking that in our office and updating those automatically. But if you're not seeing the update, then feel free to email us at SawMaps and we can look into that for you. But if your personal source of funds have changed or you have a loan, your I-20 isn't going to be updated. You'll just take the documents that you use to submit for your I-20 and then also any new financial documentation with you to your visa appointments. Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Wei, thank you so much for your time today. Have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, and thanks again for your interest in the MS and Supply Chain Management program at the University of Buffalo. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.